Once upon a time, there was a young boy named Fred who was absolutely in love with sweets. He loved tasting all kinds of candy, from chocolates to cakes to cotton candy. One day, while playing with his friends in the park, Fred found a strange door hidden behind a large tree. Fred approached the door and opened it, finding himself suddenly in a magical world full of candy. The trees were made of chocolate, and the leaves were made of cotton candy. Fred couldn't believe his eyes and ran inside, quickly followed by his friends Sam, Lena, and Tarek. Inside, they met a large talking chocolate statue. It said, "Hello, friends. I am the magical chocolate statue, here to guide you on your journey in this amazing world. But before you start, there's one rule: you must promise not to eat anything without permission." The children all agreed, but Fred couldn't resist the smell of the chocolate. He got closer and took a tiny bite. Suddenly, the chocolate started singing. It was so funny, and the chocolate started dancing around them. Everyone laughed until they cried, and the chocolate said, "You didn't heed my warning. Now you must play a game with me to be released." The group agreed, and the chocolate began asking funny questions, like, what is something that people eat but cannot be eaten itself? After thinking for a bit, Tarek answered, "A plate." The chocolate laughed and said, "Well done. You may continue on your journey." The children continued walking and found a large river made of candy. The water was actually delicious orange juice, and there were boats made of cake floating on the surface. The children decided to ride one of the boats, but suddenly a big fish jumped out of the river. The fish was made of jelly. The fish said, "I am the guardian of the candy river, and I have a riddle for you. If you solve the riddle, you can cross the river safely. If not, I'll have to send you back to the beginning." The riddle was, what is something you can't see but can fill a whole room? After thinking a little, Lena said, "Air?" But the fish shook its head. Sam thought for a moment and said, "Light." The fish smiled and said, "Correct. You may cross the river now." After crossing the river, the children found themselves in a big field full of scattered candy. But there was a sign saying, "Beware. The candy here moves." Indeed, when the children approached the candy, it started to move and hide. The children decided to search for the lost candy. They started gathering the candy one by one, and the candy tried to escape. There was cotton candy hiding under the rocks, and a chocolate piece hiding among the grass. After gathering lots of candy, a small creature resembling a bear appeared, looking sad. It said, "I am the Candy King, and these are the lost candies. Thank you for helping me gather them. You can take what you want as a reward." After a long day of adventures and laughter, the children decided to return home. They thanked the Candy King and took some candy as a gift. They headed toward the door they had entered through and returned to the park. When they stepped out, they found that almost no time had passed, as if they had never left. They all laughed and told each other they would never forget this adventure. After returning to the park, the children decided they wanted to go back to the candy world to discover more. They gathered in the same spot the next day and opened the door again. This time, when they entered, they found themselves in a different part of the candy world. They met twins who looked exactly alike, both made of cake.